We're going to have some fun this morning. If you were in the training yesterday, we had a good time, and don't want you to be shy. It's going to be interactive. I'm going to pick some of you to come up to help me, and the ones that come up to help me is probably going to get the easiest job. So we're going to learn this morning in Sunday school. It's a hooks class. It's actually a 2-hour class. I'm going to combine it in what time I have here for the Sunday school hour, about 45 minutes or so. And Brother Rick is Pastor Shady Grove over there below Logansport. He's going to help me out here with my time since it's not a clock on the wall. But I'm going to take about 45 minutes and teach you something that is very valuable. This will be so valuable to you, and you need to probably practice this to keep it. You know what I'm saying? After I teach it to you, you're going to practice it. When I teach it in churches, when they come together, if you come before your Sunday school time, before you break, if you go over this will be a big help. It'll help you to remember. What it's called is hooks. It's hanging the Bible storyline. So we're going to start and just do the major events. I'm going to teach you 25 major Bible errors. Not E-R-R-O-R, but E-R-A. From Tennessee, I say them, both sound the same to me. Okay? So we're going to learn 25 major Bible errors, and I'm going to teach you how you can remember them so when you walk out that door, every one of you will know it. In our church, they love this, and you can go into our church over in the Philippines and just pick anybody out, and they can take you through these 25 major Bible errors. Now, here's what you do. After you learn those, then you can hang the rest of the stories from that Bible event or error, okay? Are you with me? Okay, so here's what I want to do. I can get 25 volunteers, or I'll just pick you out. So anybody want to come up? Come on out up on the front. There you go. Come on. Just don't be bashful. Need about 12 of you. One, there you go. Just line up over here. Don't have to be all men. Just line up over here. Now these guys get the easy jobs. Okay? How many we got? One. Yeah, we'll just kind of get in the middle. Move over this way a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep moving over. 10, 11. They get an easy job, I'm telling you. How about you? You look like a likely suspect.
You did enough to me yesterday.
I did enough to you yesterday. What did I do to you yesterday?
Embarrassed me.
All right, embarrass you? I wouldn't never do that. All right, move over just a little bit where we get centered. There's 5 there and 6 here. That's pretty good. All right, I'm going to give you a card and just hold it up there. And I'll be right back. Down here. You and you. And hold it up right there where they can see it. Rickham. Okay. Now these are the 12. Turn it up the other way. Around like that. There you go. These are the 12. And I did have one more. All right. Hold it up just right under your chin like she's done there. That'll be good. Somewhere out there where everybody can see it. Now here's what you're going to have to do. These are the 12 major Bible errors in the Old Testament. We're going to start with the Old Testament, and so I want y'all, they're just holding the thing, I want y'all to help me and get these placed properly. So which one would be first? Creation. Who's got creation? Move over here and slide down, Lane, like that as soon as they do it. All right, what you think's next? The fall, okay? Who's got fall? Right here. Slide on down. Next, what do you think? Huh? Flood. You got the flood, young lady? Move right here. Slide on down there. There you go. And? Huh? Come on up. Quit babbling and come on up. Right here. Babel wasn't first. All right. Next. Patriarchs, very good. Patriarchs. Right here beside. Just move on down one. Then.
It's all confusing right about here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, you get it.
Moses, come on over. Dan? These two, the only two participating. Come on. Help us out back there, Eric. Come on. You're not awake yet, are you? You've been traveling all night. Joshua, very good. He's in the right place. Wait a minute, we left one out there. You sure you got them in the right order?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the right order. These are all exile. Yeah, swap these two. Swap. Now we got them in the right order. Now, what we're going to do when we learn these, I'm going to teach you how to learn them, and of course, we need to know a little bit about what they are. And the way you learn them, I'm going to teach you a sign to help you learn these. Okay? So, these first 12, these are 12 major Bible events in the Old Testament. Now, like I said, some of them have larger stories. Of course, Moses covers a big period of time, and there's several of the Bible stories. And in the Roots of Faith, or the book that I give the pastor, or the little audio thing, there's 100 stories that they have. Well, all of these, Babel will only have one story under it, of course, but the patriarchs, of course, you're going to have more. Now, the way we can learn these simply is chunking. You know what chunking is? Chunking means putting things together. Let me share this with you. If I said, what is this? 423-300-0927. What is that? That's a phone number. But we put it together in chunks so we can remember it. You know, we 3, 3, and 4. And we do things like that, serial numbers, passport numbers, and things like that. So we're going to chunk these in 4. These first 4, creation, fall, flood, Babel, are events, okay? And then you'll notice the next 4, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, and Judges, those are people. Are you with me? So we got 4 events, 4 people, and 4 events, 4 people, and then the last 4 is kingdoms. Kingdoms. So you got events, people, and kingdoms. 4 of each. Okay? Now, we'll start with creation. Of course, we won't have, I don't want to go into these too deep, but most of you understand these basic things, and this is kind of Sunday school stuff that you would have already learned. But this is, when you learn these in proper order, then you'll be able to think your way through the Bible. I remember the first time I learned this, I just laid my head down on the pillow before I went to sleep, and I walked right through the Bible. Now, even today, I can't put these in order without a help, and I'm going to give you a little help how to do it, okay? But first of all, we'll just look quickly at these. Of course, creation, we're talking about the first couple of chapters in Genesis, the 6 days of creation, when God, before anything was, God created. And of course, the fall, when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, and they brought sin into the world. And the flood, of course, the world flood with Noah. And then we had, of course, the Tower of Babel, and where they had one language, and they were all anti-God and doing some horrible things, and God come down, and they were worshiping all kind of different things, and bad stuff was going on. So God just come down and confounded their language so they would spread out. He told Adam and Eve, He told Noah and them, to replenish and populate the earth, and they didn't. They wanted to stay in one place. And actually, we're headed towards that same era again. Whenever we're trying this one world government, one world religion, we're going right back to that. We just don't learn. Then patriarchs, of course, patriarchs is I'm supposed to teach. I'll teach the first 4 and then we'll go through them. Patriarchs is Abraham, starting with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and you can go all the way into Jacob's 12 boys and how they got into from Abraham, and then Isaac, Jacob, and Jacob's 12 sons. Of course, you know the youngest, next to the youngest one, Joseph. They were jealous of him because God gave him this dream that he was going to rule over his brothers, so they sold him into slavery. That's how they got down into Egypt, okay? So they got down into Egypt, and of course from Abraham, God had given the promise way back in after the fall. He gave the promise in Genesis 3:15. Again, he gives the Abraham a covenant that he's going to make this a unconditional covenant that through his lineage the king or the Messiah was going to come. Then the Moses with all of it. Wait, I said I was going to stop at 4. Now let me share this with you. Hold them up, please, so that just keep them up. Now here's what I'm going to give you a little sign, and sometimes even today and even a while ago while I was putting them in order, I was trying to go through the signs because it helps me. Now you may not be as simple as I am, but I can't remember them without these signs. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a sign for each of them, all right? So you all participate. They got their hands full. They can't do it. So it's creation, okay? You start at the top, and you come all the way to the bottom with a world, okay? Creation. Creation. And if you don't participate, I'll have you up here, and you can teach us. Okay, creation. Okay, so we're making a world. Creation. Okay, and then the second one is fall. You just take your right hand and slap it on your left hand. Just give it a good old slap. Fall, Adam and Eve. They didn't trip and fell. They fell into sin, and it's commonly known as the fall or the fall of man. Okay, creation, fall. All right, and then the next one's a flood. So you have the rain coming down and the flood waters going up. The rain's coming down, the flood waters coming up. Okay, creation, fall, flood, and then go up with your tower. They built a tower up, because this is going to help us with the next one. Up, they go up with the tower. Okay, so again, creation, start out with creation, fall, flood, Babel. All right, so that's the first 4. Now those are very easy, and like I said a while ago when I was putting them in order, I was kind of doing that because it really helps me to get them in order. Now we're going to have 25. We've got to go through the New Testament too. Okay, so ready again. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs. See, you go up. The next one's patriarchs. You go up with Babel, you come down with a beard. Patriarchs. Up with Babel, down with the beard. That'll help you. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs. All right, what was after patriarchs? You remember? Moses. Moses always carried that walking stick or that rod. Moses. You take that rod and give it a good jam in the ground. Moses. All right, again. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, and Joshua is the one that took them in. Remember, to the promised land. He's going straight ahead. Joshua. All right, let's go back and do them. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua. Now the next one is what? Judges. What happened in the book of Judges? They had these judges, and you know what to do? They were pro-God, anti-God. Pro-God, anti-God. And sometimes when I think about how does God tolerate me, you know, whenever sometimes I'm not always faithful. Somebody said the other day, it's a good thing that my faithfulness to Him don't depend on His faithfulness to me. And I thank God for that. So, the books in Judges, they were in cycles. So you go around, you take your arm, and they were in cycles. They just went around in circles. And I told our church in the Philippines this, let me see if I can get it right. I've not got a clear thinking process this morning. Lord, help me here. They disobeyed. God judged them. They repented, and then He delivered them. And they went around in that cycle over and over. They disobeyed. They sinned. They disobeyed. They repented. What did I say?
God sent judgment.
They disobeyed. God judged them. They repented. Yeah, I got them out. And then God delivered them. So they went around in those cycles over and over. And it looks like you'd think, well, they learn? But look at us today. Have we learned anything? We're no better than them. So, all right, let's go up to where we are. Creation, Fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, judges. Now monarchy was the kings, okay? Monarchy, you put the crown. You take your fingers like that and you put the crown on the head. Monarchy. That was King, who was the kings at the time? Who was the first king? Saul. Saul, and then you had King David and Solomon. So this monarchy goes through several other major Bible events that you could hang from these. Now you see what we're getting at? These are the major ones, and all the other Bible stories will be under these major events. Okay, again, creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, judges, monarchy. Now remember, that's the kingdoms. And division. Here's what happened. They were divided after the kings, and then King Saul. Then God says, "I'm going to divide the kingdoms." Let's go when we get to division. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, judges, monarchy, and then after that was division. The kingdom was divided. There was 12 tribes, and it was divided into 10 and 2. 10 northern tribes, the 2 southern tribes. The 10 northern tribes were taken into Assyrian captivity. The two southern, and they were never returned. The 2 southern tribes, of course, were Judah and Benjamin, and they were taken into Babylonian captivity. They kind of went together. When they come back, it was as a tribe of Judah. That's why they referred to them as Jews. And so that's where we get that at, when they returned. And then the next one is what? Return. They were in exile. Did I do exile? Exile. After the division, exile is out this way. They were exiled. I ain't got nobody with me now. Exiled, and then returned. They came back. So that's all 12. Let's go over them again. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, judges, monarchy, division, exile, and return. Now you think that's children's stuff, but I guarantee this will help you. You know, whenever I'm in the Philippines and I'm preaching, wherever I'm at in the Bible, and if I'm preaching in Daniel, I say, "What Bible era is that?" I'll just call on somebody. "What Bible era are we in?" Well, we're in exile, of course. And that helps them to understand the message. And this, when you study your Bible, after you learn these, and then you can hang these stories. Of course, Moses is going to have a lot of stories. And you keep going all the way through the Bible. All of these other stories will hang from that. Then you'll be able to learn how to put your Bible together, because the Bible is one complete story, starting in Genesis. And I said yesterday, if we start to tell the gospel story and we start in the New Testament, we're already 70% into the story, into God's story. We're assuming people already know the other 70%, but you'd be surprised, they don't know. They don't know. So we need to start God's story in the beginning. In the beginning, God created. If we start there, then we can teach them properly. And when you learn this as a believer, when you learn this, it'll help you. Think about this. If we had somebody get saved this week and they started this church, this was the first time they started the church, but they came faithful. They came Sunday morning, if it was a regular Sunday morning. This is not since I'm here. But if it was a regular Sunday morning, they'd go to a Sunday school class. Maybe the Sunday school teacher was teaching in Matthew and the Beatitudes or something. And then they come into the preaching service and Brother James preaching from Isaiah or somewhere. How long do you think it's going to take that person to be able to put the Bible in perspective as one complete story? Some of us have been coming to church a long time, and if I said, "Can you come up here and give a book report on the Bible starting in Genesis and take us to Revelation?" Duh. I'm pretty sure I can't remember which one came first, you know. So this is going to really help you. This will help you so much. It's helped me in our church. Now, we have got, I don't think I showed them to y'all yesterday, Brother James. We've got some little cards. I don't know if you guys that were there yesterday saw those little cards. There's 100 of these cards. And they have all these stories that go underneath this. Actually, you can play a game but with adults or children, and you lay those on the floor and you put all those stories in which Bible era they go in. It really helps you to get an idea of the storyline of the Bible. It's pretty awesome. And what I do, I don't know if you'd be bold enough to do this, Brother James, but what I do is when they come in, and they won't know when it's going to happen, but I do it very regularly, I take one of those cards, and as they come in, I give them a card. And they know that they're going to have to come up and not only tell that story, they're going to have to first tell what major event it is in. Is it in Moses? If it's baby Moses, this is when God delivered him when he was a little boy and his mama put him in a river, and they got to tell as much as that story. You see, if they learn to tell the Bible stories, even without a Bible, they can witness to people. Even if, and I'm probably getting into my message this morning, even if for some reason somebody gets to be president that wants to take away our guns, the next thing they're going to take away is the Bibles. And so how much are you going to know about your Bible if you don't have a Bible? That's right. Well, I know a couple of verses over in the New Testament. Well, you better know a lot more than that if you're going to survive what's coming. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over them again and make sure we get it before we do. Creation, fall, flood, Babel, patriarchs, Moses, Joshua, judges, monarchy, division, exile, return. So they came back. Okay, is that pretty simple? Okay, if it's pretty simple, can I get a volunteer without picking somebody out? Because I'll pick somebody out and I'll go, I don't know if I know them all. Miss Rita, would you like to come up and give it a try? You were doing so well. Come on up. We'll, huh?
That's not my name.
That's not your name. Come on. We know you can do it. We'll help you, okay? Let's see if she can do them, and if she pauses, we'll help her out, okay? So stand right here where you'll be on camera and 50 million people will see. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Only 5 or 6, 10 million people to see in one. That's all. All right. You go right ahead. What's the first one? Creation. Do it. Creation. Creation. No, put it up here, 2 hands up here at the top, and go all the way down to the bottom and stop there. Because this is going to help us with another one in the New Testament, okay? Let's do it properly. Start at the top, come down like that, just make a beautiful shaped circle or world. Creation. Fall. Flood. Babel. It goes up, the tower goes up. Yeah. Patriarchs, the beard. Remember, the tower goes up, the beard comes down. That's okay, we're helping. It's not a problem.
Moses.
Babel, Moses.
And then
Joshua, he's going out into the battle. He's going across the Jordan. They're going into the battle, okay? Joshua.
And then
Judges. Yeah, just put your arms straight out. Not Hail Hitler, but just put your arm about there and go around the circle. Okay? Yeah, Judges.
And then
Help her out. Monarchy, the kingdoms. Divisions, the kingdoms are divided in half. Exile.
And then
Return. Very good. Give her a hand. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get them in order. But don't look. All right. So what should go first? Huh? Arrival. Wait a minute. Before arrival, there's one anticipation. Now think about this. All I've ever heard preachers say is that between the Old and New Testament there's 400 years of silence. But you got to think about this. They were waiting for their Messiah to come, and they were excited. When you're excited, what do you do? Oh boy, I can't wait. This is anticipation, okay? So who's got anticipation? So anticipation, he's were anticipating, this is the 400 years of silence we all talked about. Okay, so anticipation, arrival, let's just go over these first before we get the signs. Arrivals when Jesus came here on earth. This wasn't his beginning. Actually, if you study the Old Testament, you'll find out he was there. He made some appearances in the Old Testament called Christophanies. So arrival, he arrived physically, and he used by my Catholic friends, I tried to explain to them, God used Mary as a vehicle just like he uses me. And he used her to come into this world. He didn't begin, certainly in Bethlehem. He was the creator in the beginning. So anticipation, arrival, seclusion was the period of time from when he was born till he began his earthly ministry. Okay, when he was baptized and when he went through the fasting and temptation of Satan, and before he began to start his ministry. And then when he started his ministry, he became very popular because of the things that he did, the miracles that he did, with the healings, the walking on water, feeding the 5,000. But when he said, God and I are one, then they wanted to stone him. Then they wanted to pose him. They wanted to kill him. Several times they tried to stone him, but he wouldn't allow them to do that because he didn't come to be stoned. He came to be crucified on the cross. Okay? So then he went through the suffering when they arrested him, and then the Via Dolorosa, where he went through the 5 different trials there in one night, the mock trials. And they did take him, put him on the cross, kill him, and that goes all the way to the 3rd day when he arose from the dead, victory. And then, now this is, we know he was on the earth 40 days and was seen of up to 500 at one time. I'm just doing this real quick. They usually spend more time on each one because of the lack of time that I have this morning. Victory. And then after and this is from the time he arose from the dead till he went back to heaven. After the 40 days, he gave him the Great Commission, and then he said, he left it in our hands. What an opportunity for a handful of guys to take this glorious story, God using us. It's just an awesome thing that God uses any of us, especially me. And I always say, if God can use me, He can use anybody, because I'm the least likely person that God would ever want to use. I guarantee you, if you knew my past, horrible. But victory, and then the apostles, they began to preach the Word of God, and then the church was born there at Pentecost, and then the church takes us all the way through, and we don't have, I know you're going to say, where's the rapture? The rapture is within the church, and then the 7 years tribulation. He returns, the second coming, sets up His kingdom here on this earth for 1,000 years, and then the judgments, and then restores a new heaven and a new earth. So this is all the way from Genesis to Revelation. These are the major Bible events, the major ones. And I didn't come up with this. Good Soul come up with this, but I really like it because it's helped me. And if you could get the other ones to go underneath, all the other stories will fit somewhere in this timeline. But this will help you where you can, if you think about it, when I'm reading my Bible, you know what I do? I read my Bible and I'm trying to think, and I'll have to do the little signs to get to where I'm at. Oh yeah, I know where they're at now. So we'll learn these 13, and we'll start with this one. This is anticipation. Remember, they were waiting. Boy, I can't wait. They were waiting for the Messiah to arrive, okay? And then He did arrive. He did arrive, so how did He arrive? He arrived like a baby in a manger, okay? Arrival. Of course, the reason they didn't accept Him because they didn't believe that can't be the King. We know His mom and daddy. He's born in a barn. This is hardly not who we've been waiting for. It can't be Him. Of course, we know He was. They opposed Him and rejected Him. Israel did. So, anticipation, arrival. Now, seclusion. We'll just do this. Just kind of put your hand over your eyes and turn your head a little bit. It doesn't mean He was in hiding. It means He wasn't in public view. So seclusion, and then popularity. Put your hands way up high. Popularity. He was very popular whenever He started doing the miracles and things. And then opposition. They opposed Him. Opposition. okay? Opposition, straight out in front of you. Stop. They opposed him. Opposition. And then, of course, suffering is the cross like this. Suffering. He suffered on a cross and died, rose again. And then, hold up, victory. He arose from the dead. That's victory. Suffering, victory. Okay? And then, of course, we're talking about that took us, that air goes all the way back to where he returned to heaven. And then the apostles begin to spread the word of God. Apostles, just take like you're taking your words and throwing them out. Apostles. And then church. The church came together. You can do that or you can do that. Gil does this. I like to do that. The church came together. And then after the church age, of course, the rapture is under the church age. Then tribulation, the 7-year tribulation period coming soon to a world near you. Tribulation. And then kingdoms, like you're sitting on a throne. You know how you sit on the throne, you got the armrest here, you kind of squat down. Kingdom. And then judgment. There's going to be 3 judgments. Satan, the great white throne, judgment. And then restoration. Now remember with creation we started up here, restoration will start at the bottom and go back to the top. Okay, remember creation is here, restoration start at the bottom and go back to the top. So let's do the New Testament now, okay? Anticipation, arrival, seclusion, popularity, opposition, remember they oppose him, suffering, victory, apostles. What happened to my mind? Church. Yeah, the church. And tribulation is tribulation. Tribulation. Hit your fist, hand in your fist. Yeah, not kind of like that. Down, come down. Tribulation. Very good. Tribulation. Kingdoms. Whoops. Kingdoms. All right. Judgment and restoration. Okay? You ready? One more time. Anticipation. Arrival. Seclusion. Popularity. Opposition. Suffering. Victory. Apostles. Church. Tribulation. Kingdom. This is kingdom on the throne. Kingdom. Judgment and restoration. Okay. Now, is there someone that would like to do? Rick, would you like to do the New Testament?
I will try.
Oh, you'll try. Okay. Take us through the New Testament.
Okay, we have anticipation.
Anticipation.
Arrival. Seclusion. Popularity. Opposition. Suffering. Victory. Apostles. The church. Tribulation. Kingdom. Judgment. And restoration.
Very good. Give him a hand. All right. Can I have your cards, please? Okay. I don't know if it's helped you. Now, Back to the Bible did something like this years ago, but they went through every book. This is the main events. If you go through the main events, then you can hang something from each of these particular events. Like I said, all of these events, these 25 events, you can hang all the other stories of the Bible. But if you can think your way through the Bible like that and remember that, it's called hooks. It's been so helpful to me. It's helped our church. It helps us to learn the Bible. And as we study the Bible, like I said, when they come in, I'll give them a card and they know they're going to have to tell that story. And then sometimes after they sit there, I'll give them 10 minutes to study their cards and the story. And then I'll say, find a partner, now switch cards and tell that other story. So they got to learn the other story. If you can start learning these Bible stories, then when you start witnessing, it helps you to understand. It puts the whole Bible into perspective as one complete story. The story of hope for fallen mankind. If you start studying it that way, when you study in different places or when your Sunday school teacher's teaching over here, you go, oh, I know where he's at. I know what major error that's in. I know what's going on with Israel or with this, with that, or when Jesus was here, when he was going through the suffering, or when he was in opposition, we can understand that. So it really helps you. And like I said, please rehearse these at home. When you come to church, challenge each other. Hey, do you know them? Can you do all 25? Can you do all 25? And keep practicing, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And like I said, I'll be reading my Bible, and people probably think I'm crazy, especially if I'm in a public place. I'll go like this, you know, and I'll say, "What? Oh, yeah." So I'll get what Bible error that's in. And if you understand the Bible error, then you'll be able to understand what you're studying, what you're reading, the part in history, okay? So I hope that was a help to you this morning.